Came back with a 2-2 week, a couple of hits away from maybe being a 3-1 week. I thought our coaching staff did a good job. You know, I had to sit out 2-game suspension, so I thought Bab and JT and Daniel, they all did a great job. The Nichols game, Schmidt threw really well. He kept them down, kept the score down, which we needed to. We only scored 2, but that was enough with the way we pitched. Stokey came in and threw well behind him, so they got that one done. And then Friday, I had to sit out another one, and I thought they did a great job against Mississippi State. And Nick Lee threw very well, really good. He was really, really good. And so our pitching staff has been throwing really well. Their guy that night, we knew we were going to face a first rounder or second rounder, and he was really good. He got us a lot of strikeouts, but we hung in there. You know, hit here, hit there. Could have maybe changed the complexion of the game. I thought Brock Batty again came in and threw well for a freshman against that caliber of team in that setting. The next day we moved on into Vanderbilt. Jack Burke really threw well. Hopefully he'll be pitcher of the week this week, but held them down. He was really, really good on both sides of the plate. They held us down, but we were able to get a couple, and it was enough when you throw a shutout. So the pitching staff has really been, holding the score down right now, and that's what we needed to do. We knew Sunday was going to be not easy because this team was very good as a hitting team. Austin Perrin threw really, really well Sunday against one of the best offenses in the country. They remind me a lot of the 58-win team we had here. They're really a really good baseball team. They're complete. They've got good pitching. For being such good physical hitters, they still play good defense. Sometimes you give up some defense when you've got that kind of physicality, but they don't. They make good adjustments throughout the game. It took them a little while to get adjusted, and then we let the game get away from us in the back end. But Austin Perrin really threw well under those conditions against that kind of team in that setting. So our freshmen continue to get better on the mound, and our starters are really throwing well. Stokey's throwing well out of the pen. We just need to continue to grind it out as hitters. Got to continue to cut our strikeouts down. Got to continue to get better with, 2-strike RBI or 2-out RBIs, and continue to do the things that we need to do. And work we haven't, I don't think we've scored a 3-run inning yet. We've got to be able to get to a 3-run inning. We've got to be able to get to being able to stay in an inning and try to get to a point where we can break a game open, not get a sac fly, and kill the inning with a sac fly and get just 1 run. We got to continue to get better until we can hopefully break open a game. So having said that, we got to plow on. So all we can do and continue to move forward. It's not going to get any easier. We knew that with this schedule, but that's okay. You can't hang your hat on excuse making, low hanging fruit. That's why we didn't worry about the umpiring a week ago. We had things in our hands that we could control. You can't make excuses and become a victim. Once you become a victim, then you lose the power over your life. So we've got to handle everything internally and continue to grow as hitters. And 1 through 9, just continue to get better. Their day off is today, always on a Monday. Then we'll head into Tuesday, get a workout in. LSU will come in. We'll get another workout on Thursday, and then South Alabama will come in. So it's not going to get any easier, which is good. We need to continue to be to have it as difficult as we can, to grow through it and continue to try to get better. We appreciate the Shriners Classic and inviting us there. It was a great weekend for our fans. We appreciate all the fans that did come. That's important to us to get re-invited because you can't invite yourself there. They invite you there. So it's just a great place for all our fan base to be able to come watch baseball and to see such quality baseball throughout the weekend. It was an honor, being invited there and seeing the Shriners kids, and to see what they do, and see what the Shriners do to give hope to these young children. and to listen to these children talk and listen to their stories and how tough they had it along the way, and yet they don't make excuses, and they have hope. And that's a phenomenal thing to watch somebody go through what they got to go through and still see them have hope. It was great meeting Alec, the national spokesperson for the Shriners. Again, it was just an honor and a privilege to be there with all those kids, their parents, to be able to talk to their parents about the journey that they've been through with those children, and good for our players to see that, because this is bigger than baseball. You'll never know what's going to happen with one of their children when they're born, and to watch these parents and to watch these kids and to see how resilient they've been through the battle that they had was just an honor and a privilege. So it was a great weekend, not for our record, but for the experience, to be able to put some freshmen out there, Jack Burke only being a sophomore to face Vanderbilt, and Nick Lee just being a junior. We were able to get in there and fight against the SEC. That's what you want to do. You want to learn how to play at the highest level there is, and the only way to do that is to play at the highest level. So we'll get a day of rest today, and then back to work on Tuesday, and then to get ready for LSU. Questions you might have?
Schmidt on Wednesday?
Yes.
What did you do to, deal with that injury situation that he had last season that's allowing him to do the things that he is now?
Well, his was it was similar to Hogan Harris's. It was an oblique strain. Again, you see it a lot with pitchers because they torque the body so much, and I think he had enough time to rest. I think Chad Arsenault and Kerry Lampkin, that's been working with us this fall when we got back with Fusionetics and doing the things that we need to do with their bodies, has been very, very good. I'm glad we were able to get that started and get that going. I think it's paying some dividends, and I think hopefully it'll pay some dividends down the road too, because we're going to continue to shut down our pitchers during the summer, even the recruits that are coming in, and get them working on something that they need to be working on, their bodies, because so much of them are overthrown right now underneath us. The way pitchers are coming into us today is just unbelievable. They're just being so overthrown, and we have to have a system in place to catch them when they come in, and get them to start working on their body before we start really getting after him in the fall. But I think the rest did him some good. The summer did him some good. He worked real hard. We ID'd some areas that maybe could have caused that, and he continued to work on those areas. And now I think he's feeling 100%. And when players feel 100%, it's so much better for them to perform at the highest level. And he's really been pitching well. We let him stay last week in that game so that he could cycle back up for this Wednesday against LSU. It works out good for us because the first weekend, even though it's South Alabama on our schedule, a lot of people might think that's conference, but of course it's not. So it gives us a chance to go one more weekend before we have to, set the rotation for the weekend for conference.
Speaking of the weekend rotation, you flipped Jack and Nick this week. Any particular reason, and do you expect that to carry over?
Yeah, we'll probably keep it that way. Again, the first weekend, the second weekend, there's not really no big thing. We just went ahead and flipped it to put Nick up to Friday and let him settle in on Saturday, and no real big reason behind it. We think Schmidt, after this next start, will ID where he's at, because for the conference weekend, after we kind of work backwards and see where Hogan Harris is, if Hogan can't go the first weekend for some reason in conference, then Smitty will probably step up and maybe take his spot so that we can go into the conference weekend with three good starters. So we're kind of just waiting on Hogan. We're going to give him, this week and probably this weekend. I don't think you'll see him this weekend either, and try to get him ready for opening conference weekend.
Obviously, you guys faced some pretty good teams this past weekend, but is LSU still like a measuring stick type game to say, where you stand, how you get better?
I think anytime you play somebody in the SEC, it's a huge measuring stick. Those guys have had a lot of success, and again, they're in the SEC. So again, You want to try to play people that are just as good as you or better to get better. And I think, these guys are a good baseball team. They're used to winning. So I think it'll be good for us to continue to face good, solid baseball teams right now. Some people see it other ways where they'd hope they'd have, a weekend or 3 or 4 games to play somebody that, they could literally, handle or get back to maybe feeling better about yourself. But I'm the other way. I like to get beat on as much as I can. I mean, it's a sick deal, but I believe that's how you get better personally in the long run, is to continue to play good people and stop turning to see if you could play somebody so-called easier. I don't think that's how you get better. I think you get better by continuing to play good baseball teams, and LSU is a good baseball team.
Is that also why you scheduled South Alabama as a non-conference?
Yeah. We wanted to get the best team in here possible. I think you owe it to your fans, and I think you owe it to your program to play the best people that you can get your hands on. Ultimately, I think that makes us better. Sometimes your record gets bruised up and your ego and your pride can get bruised up a little bit, but you got to be able to work through that. You got to be able to work through it. And, I call it an invisible climb. Sometimes you can get better, but your record doesn't show it. Sometimes you can get better when things don't look good, because you look at back all the way when we played South Carolina at 50-6. I told our team that day, trying to get to Omaha, if we could beat them just one time. I don't know if they've been through what we've been through. We went a 9-game losing streak. Guys were getting after each other in the dugout, in the clubhouse, and everything else. But we grew. We actually grew through that 9-game losing streak. And a lot of people don't realize the Omaha team went through a 9-game losing streak because it's what they did with their struggle. And that's how life is. You take your struggle, you mess, you don't live in it, you do something with it. And then pretty soon people forget about where you were. There's a lot of people that when you tell them the Omaha team had a 9-game losing streak, they don't remember it. You got to prove it to them. And but it's because they took their struggle, they did something with it, and then you forget about your struggle. If you wallow in your self-pity, then you stay in your struggle, and then that's all what people see is your struggle. We have to learn how to take our struggle and grow from it. There's a lot of times you can win too much. If I'd be sitting here 10-1, I'd have the flip side of coaching. I'd have to start worrying about, winning too much and what's going to happen when you do get punched in the face. When's that happen? What are you going to do? So I think everybody goes through a struggle in their season. Some people go wire to wire with no struggle. That's very fortunate, and that can happen. But in baseball, it's such a long season. You're going to go through some struggle. We got ours early. We got to work through it and continue to grow. And having LSU and South Al is going to give us a chance to not have an opportunity to accidentally feel good about ourselves. We're going to have to go out there and get after it to be able to feel good about ourselves.
Is there a distinct confidence difference between Fridays or Thursdays ride out there to Sunday's ride home?
No. I mean, the big thing about a whole weekend series is, you're leaving home with the whole weekend. People are going to maybe look back at the last thing you did, but we don't coach like that or talk to them about that. We focused on the whole weekend after we were finished. The whole week, we try to go by the week. This is a 2-2 week. Last week I think it was a 1-3 week, so we got a little better. So we try to focus on the week versus our last game, because if you focus just on the last thing, to me that's not good. You got to move forward. And so we focus on the whole week, and then we try to leave the week behind actually when we leave. The trouble is, with press conferences and everything else, you have to relive last week. We don't do this with our team. We don't relive the past, because that's just not any kind of way to get better. Christ put our eyes on the front of our head, not in the back of our head. You look forward. Too many people in their life get caught because they're looking backwards all the time. We don't look backwards. But we have to wake up Monday and look backwards to ultimately be able to move forward by Tuesday. I tell my wife that all the time. I love Tuesdays, not Mondays, because you gotta always look backwards. I hate looking backwards. I despise looking backwards. But you have to do it until you can look forward.
Let's look backwards to look forward.
There you go. Thanks, Dave.
The 58-win team was so physical offensively, and yet the Friday night starter, Robichaux, seemed to always come up short with run support. This year, it seemed everyone's coming up short with run support. How do you keep the pitcher's confidence by giving up a run or two and not letting the inning get away? Knowing the offense.
That's a good question. We talk to the pitchers. It could be reversed right now too. We could be scoring a ton of runs, but then not holding people. So now you got to hold the hitters together. And we talk about this all the time. It's kind of like football. The offense, the defense. And everything. Who's doing their job? Who's not doing their job? And then you get an enigma going, and all of a sudden you can't hit. And so now you're fighting a persona. We like to label a lot of stuff in sport. They're chokers, they're come from behind guys, they're the cardiac kids, they're the this, they're the that, they can't win the big one. We get real caught up in the labeling, and what they have to really work through is be careful about not letting somebody else's perception become their reality, and that's the biggest challenge in this. So with the pitching, we go the other way, being that they're being a little bit more successful right now. We try to get them to understand to focus on their job, just to focus on your job. Your job is to not get a W. If you get the W, that's a bonus. We teach them that early. We teach them that you can't be sitting in the dugout in the fifth inning. That's why momentum always changes in the fifth inning of a game, because if they can get through five, they can get a W. And we don't want them sitting there worrying about a W. We want the pitching staff to do one thing, and if you talk to them, they'll tell you what their job is. Their job is to give us a chance to win. Nick Lee gave us a chance to win against Mississippi State. He didn't get the win, but he gave us a chance to win. And so he did his job. So I'm not going to, pull a pitcher that's 0-3, but yet he's doing his job. Now, the average fan might focus on his record. I don't focus on their records. I focus on, are they giving us a chance to win? So we pull them up routinely and just continue to tell them, stick with it. We don't need you pointing fingers. It could be the other way. There's going to be times where we might not pitch, and then our hitters have to bail the pitchers out. So I used to tell Austin all the time when he went out on Friday night, tell me, if you need 5 to 6 runs to pitch, I'll put you on Sunday. But if you want to be the Friday night starter, then you got to understand you're going to face, what we call a buffalo. You're going to face another guy that's probably got a 197 or a 2-0. So let's negotiate this out right now. I can get you 2 runs maybe, So the Friday night guy understands that. Nick knew who he was going against. We prepared him for it, and we don't need him, fracturing off and splintering off and talking about the hitters or anything like that. The pitching staff won't do that. I mean, they're going to continue to focus on their job, and I think that's why they've been able to do their job, is they've got to stay focused on their job. And then we've got to keep holding the fort until some hitters come on. So we just talk to them and tell them that you're going to have to hang on. Like this weekend, this is a Friday night starter every weekend. Even though you were catching the number 2 arm, for Vanderbilt, or you were catching the number 3 arm for Kentucky, all those guys are Friday night arms to us. And the guys that are running in out of the bullpen, I mean, they're mixing and matching with lefties and righties that are coming in throwing 93 to 95. But that was good for us, man. The more we see that, and the more we swing against it, if we don't let it bury us, it's just good for us. I don't think we'll see those kind of arms all year, and hopefully we can, still become a conference champion. Like I told our hitters the other day, you still can become a conference champion. I mean, it's all that's still in front of you. And then when we get back to a regional or super regional, hopefully you'll be able to draw on the arms we're going to face now because of what you saw early in the year. And that's what you have to stay focused on and try not to let somebody else's perception become your reality. I mean, that's the biggest issue here, is that they've got to continue to believe that they can get this done, even though they're taking a beating right now from all the arms they're facing.
What about the atmosphere? What do you think that's going to be like Wednesday night? Do you think it's going to have a regional, super regional kind of feel?
There's no doubt. I mean, LSU travels real well, and you know, to the team that's not been here in a long time, because they put us on a rotation, so it takes a while before they get back to us in the state schools that they're playing in a rotation. So it's our rotation this Wednesday. So yeah, I think it'd be great. I think it's great for our fans. Next year we open with 3 with Texas here. I think that's going to be a great 3-game series, and I think that's what you've got to work to do. I don't think you can do a $17-18 million upgrade to your stadium and not try to bring in the best baseball that you can bring in here. Our fans deserve that, and we also need to learn how to play against that.
Where's the confidence of your hitters?
Well, you know, that's a big challenge with when you're not succeeding, no matter what it is. It's going to be always confidence. You have to continue to believe. You got to continue to get back out here Tuesday and keep working. And I think they're getting better from talking to them, to watching them. Their work ethic is still good. Like I told them the other day, keep taking care of all the peripheral stuff. You know, get to class on time. A lot of people, when they get in these positions, they start cutting corners. You know, you stop running as hard. You start having all kind of issues. The one great thing about this team is that we've got no internal issues, which is good. You got a team that's just underachieving right now at the plate, and we've got to just keep working on it. You know, to watch last weekend and this weekend, to watch 9-10 guys come to 7 o'clock mass after a late game like we had the other night. I mean, I think their confidence or attitude is good. I think they'd have to keep working and keep grinding. That's all you can do. But internally, they're working. We'll get back to Tuesday and work again and see another good arm on Wednesday. I just believe that the more we face these good arms, eventually we'll get better. So I think they're okay. I think we're continuing to get them to understand that you've got to plow forward. If you look at a lot of pro players around the country, a lot of them start out really slow during the season and come on. Some start really fast, and then, you know, they die down at the end of the season. It's all a confidence factor in being able to continue to believe you can do something even though while you're struggling. So I think they're okay. I think we just got to continue just to keep the blinders on the old mule and keep plowing.
Coach, how have you liked how Cole McKinnon's handling the pitching staff, you know, kind of being thrust into that role?
He's doing an excellent job back there. He caught one in the thigh the other night, and he's grinding through it. He's really done an exceptional job for us, especially when you consider he hadn't had no fall. He was down in the fall with a weight room injury to his wrist, so he had no fall. He hadn't even caught some probably 3 to 5 of our pitchers going into opening day. So I think Cole's doing a great job for us behind the plate.